Where's your head at?
In the clouds. Where's yours?
On my shoulders. About to show these boys how we do it. You ready?
Higher, further, faster, baby.
That's right.
What's up, everybody? This is Tessa.
And this is Tricia.
And this is Strong Female Lead.
Hi, guys. I'm Strong Female Lead. We talk about the strong female leads in movies and television. We talk about badass women. We talk about the movies.
Yes, all those things. And because women are badasses and deserve to be applauded. Or ridiculed, relentlessly, whatever the situation calls for.
But there's strength. There's strength in both. And leading.
There is. You put yourself out there, and that is applause-worthy.
So the movie that we're doing this week is...
Oh my god. Captain Mar-Vell. Mar-Vell. That was the echo.
So, Skrulls are the bad guys. And you're a Kree, a race of noble warriors.
Heroes. Noble warrior heroes.
Your life began the day it nearly ended. We found you with no memory. We made you one of us. So you could live longer, stronger, superior. You were reborn.
I keep having these memories. Something in my past is the key to all of this.
You know how to fly this thing?
We'll see.
That's a yes or no question.
Yes.
Would you like to know what you really are?
I think I had a life here. What aren't you telling me?
You've come a long way, but you're not as strong as you think. This war is just the beginning.
I'm not gonna fight your war. I'm gonna end it.
Aren't you the cutest little thing? Aren't you cute? And what's your name, huh?
Fury.
What's cute? I'll be back.
Okay, so I am a huge, crazy Marvel fan.
Crazy.
I've seen all of the movies, all but one of the TV shows because I just couldn't sit through it. I will go back and watch that for missing plot points, just in case I did miss anything. I don't think I missed anything. I did read some of the comic books because I became even more
Tuxedo shirt on.
Yeah. God, I dress up. You guys come to my house? You think I wouldn't dress up for you?
I just didn't notice.
Oh yeah, it's my tuxedo t-shirt from the movie The Room.
Well, there you go. You should Brie Larson, man, right? That Room?
No, that's just Room.
Oh, and really, there's not a lot of tuxedo references in that really sad movie about her stuck in a room with her son.
I keep saying I'm gonna watch that movie, and then again, outwardly sad.
Again, outwardly sad seems to draw me in and seems to push you out. And either way, Brie Larson speaks to us both.
She does.
Because she's a badass MFer.
She is. I must say, and if you follow me on social media, you already know a little bit of my opinions about the movie. But I was pleasantly surprised with Brie. I did not have high hopes for this performance. Even though she is an Oscar-winning
She's a great actress.
I just didn't think she could pull it off.
I think she was too, I don't want to say too good of an actress, but like she couldn't get that light miss. Do you know what I mean? Like how some of those characters, it's sort of baseline, a little superficial sometimes.
Yeah.
Like, I can't explain.
And I'm like, she hasn't done a comedy in a long time. And I feel like part of like the magic, in my opinion, of Mar-Vell, especially these lead characters, is that they are very like, in on the joke, all of them.
I noticed that with her.
Yeah.
But she was really funny in United States of Terror.
She was, and that's what kind of gave me that glimmer of hope that's like, she'll be fine.
Yeah, she could do this.
Yeah.
And she, from your perspective, as a Mar-Vell head, per se, you, like, I thought she did it. Mar-Vell. I thought she did great as an outsider who knows nothing about this universe and has maybe seen Iron Man, and that's it. I thought she was awesome, and I enjoyed it. But as someone who knows how the game's played,
would give, just based on acting performance, I'm gonna give her a 3.5 out of 5.
Thank God that's out of 5, because I got really fucking nervous that you were throwing a 10 there, and
No. She was so far from bad, but I am going to
but
just
not
like,
good.
but not great. I mean, and I think like a lot of it isn't her fault. I do blame a lot of it on the story, and I have a lot of notes on like what things I would change about the story, because Mar-Vell, like the movies kind of follow, like they fall into genres like a Western or a dark comedy or and this one I could not tell what genre they were going for, because it wasn't a comedy like you would, like most people would put Thor is a comedy.
Is that with the really good looking?
The Hemsworth.
Okay, I should probably see that one.
Oh yeah, Idris Elba's there too.
I'm a fan of his.
That's my favorite one.
Yeah.
Thor?
Yeah, and I haven't seen all of them, but that's definitely my favorite.
Yeah.
I didn't know that was supposed to be funny.
I mean,
I've never
he
even
is
seen.
so funny.
He is so funny, yeah. And also Guardians of the Galaxy, I think, is the Western, I think.
Okay.
Sorry, Marvel people, you can correct me.
I think
correct me in the comments. So
how are we going to approach this movie? Because it is part of a larger world.
Yes, part of a larger world. So I am going to kind of interject a lot with insight on the rest of the Marvel universe, whereas Tricia is going to kind of come in and give us her perspective, seeing just pretty much this movie. She's going to be awesome.
Just this movie, and just because I like women kicking ass in film, and I like some 90s. I like 90s homage.
Oh yeah.
And this just happened to have it, and I didn't know that coming in, and that made me really happy. I knew all the music.
Yes. The music. I kept writing.
Fantastic.
I kept writing songs down. 10 out of 10. No doubt. I was like, yes, I am the girl in this world.
Don't Go Chase Some Waterfalls. Whole.
Yeah.
I know. There was a lot of really good music.
Ugh,
and her 9 Inch Nails t-shirt. Yeah, all of it. But I really just am going to, I'll bring up the strong female lead shit that I see, but honestly, I don't even understand what the fuck was going on. And also, like, I was taking notes in the back row, using my phone as a flashlight. So, listeners, Tessa and I ended up seeing the movie at the same time.
Oh, yeah. That was hilarious.
And I was with my fiance, Zach, and Tessa, being sweet, because we were kind of on a date night, but she just sat over across the aisle, and then I kind of wanted to yell at you sometimes and sort of like bring it in, because it felt like almost like grade school, where we like kind of separated a little, but we were still a part of. It reminded me of a lot of group dates that I went on like in the 6th grade. It was fantastic.
Exactly. It was a group date.
Yeah.
Where I came alone. So not in a sad way, but just in a very alone way, so.
But I was taking all of these notes, and I didn't even know the language, because I'm like, scrawl? And I'm like writing stuff, and I just, honestly, I mean, it's a total mess, and let's go for it. Let's do it. There's a lot of obvious plot holes or things that I probably wouldn't understand, that like people who know it will be able to piece stuff together.
Yeah.
Not plot holes, but like little things that they might not explain as much.
Mm-hmm.
But honestly, I think I did get it. Like, I figured out who like the good and bad people were, and like who.
And I think I'm a little harder on this movie because I do have all that other information that I'm just like, you guys could have done this differently. Like, we already, like, if you're a viewer and you know about the Kree, then that wasn't a big surprise that, oh no, the Kree are the bad guys, duh. Like, if you've been watching for the past 10 years or reading for the past 60
like
years,
Vikings or some sort of...
They're blue and gorgeous. I was like, oh man. Yeah. So Captain Marvel, we're bringing her in now, which they were talking about this movie for a very long time before it got made, which was very frustrating for me as a Marvel enthusiast or fanatic. I'm gonna go with fanatic because it sounds more 90s.
It does sound 90s.
Yeah.
Enthusiast sounds a little academic.
Well, no, I want to be an enthusiast. Carol Danvers, Earth Human, Woman.
Which is really a boring name.
Carol Danvers.
Yeah.
Yeah. They all kind of have boring names.
Jesus. Are they supposed to, like, emphasize just the normal
The
human
averageness of
aspect? Yeah.
Exactly.
I'm just like, Jesus. Carol Danvers. I mean,
Exactly.
all of our names are better than that.
Mine's not.
Yeah, it is.
It's kind of boring. This homeless guy today didn't even believe it was my name. I think he thought I was giving him a line. And
like
I was
a
like,
generic name.
yeah, and I was like, I would come up with a better one than Tessa. Like, it's not even like...
Like Carol Danvers.
I should have said Carol Danvers. Then I would have felt bad for the line for that old man. Yeah, he had weird stories. I was like, I don't know. He did. It's like, I'm always down for a story, but I was like, his stories are weird. I thought he was in a cult, and I was like, interesting. He drew me in there.
He probably is.
He's talking about, like, how he's going to go to hell, and I was like, I don't think you're going to go to hell, sir. I don't think from these stories you've done anything hell-worthy, but...
Oh, Jesus. So, hold on. This man stopped you, told you stories, and then told you about his fear that he was going to go to hell because of said stories?
Yeah.
And were you just offering him counsel on the street? Like, what?
I did encourage him to get out of the street, because he was talking to me from... I was on Clark University, and he was in the street.
Oh.
And I was like, sir, maybe you should get off of the street.
And it wasn't a metaphor.
No. I just didn't want him to die.
Thought he might get hit by a
Yeah,
bus.
I already had to save one person's life, and I will never do it again. I'm not a hero, guys. That's why I watched the movie.
Whose life did you save?
Sorry. But yeah, this like weird guy was just like standing next to me at a bus stop, and then all of a sudden he was not because he hit the floor so hard. I heard his head bounce off the concrete, and then he was like trying to get up like a zombie. Again, another guy in the street who I'm encouraging. Hey, sir. You know, look like you're with it. Maybe you should not be in the street. And so I had to call the 911, and then like paramedics came in to get a statement. Wow.
Tessa, that is your very own superhero moment.
Ew.
That is your
better one. I want to save a kid from something.
That is your Marvel moment.
Calling the police? Technology was...
Yeah. Okay. Can I tell you something?
Yes.
It is kind of related.
Did you kill someone?
Unfortunately, no.
Oh,
no, I was driving when I was like 17 or 18. I was just driving down the street, and this car in front of me just had some smoke kind of coming out of the tailpipe, and I was driving on my way to my friend's house to pick her up, and all of a sudden, like, a spark started coming out of the tailpipe, and then it turned into a flame. And so I started driving in the lane for the opposite track, like, going against traffic. Mm-hmm. And there were no other cars, but still, that was kind of crazy. Mm-hmm. And then I pull up next to her, and I start screaming, and I have braces. So you just need to picture this entire thing, okay? I have braces, and I'm yelling, "Your car's on fire!" And so then I pull over onto a side street. She pulls over onto the same side street, which happens to be her street. And I pull over like kind of a distance away, just, and then I get out of my car, and she grabs her kid and grabs all of these files out of this minivan, and the whole top of the car is engulfed in flames at this point. So the whole thing happened within a matter of could have been 10 minutes. I was following her for a little while and kind of took a turn with her because I thought it looked weird, but it didn't take that long. And so her husband actually ran out, their family. I mean, it was fucking crazy.
Wow.
So then I was really scared after it because I almost didn't follow her, because I don't know. I mean, you just see a spark. I don't know anything about cars.
Yeah. I was like,
maybe I thought it was like just a cool minivan that like had a bit of a kick to it. Like, I don't know.
Your minivan is a sawed-off muffler.
It was a souped-up minivan.
Yeah. Like, I don't know anything.
Got nitrous tanks in the back. It's really Fast and the Furious. Like, I like
I knew nothing about cars. So then I only told a few people. I was very, very, like, I was kind of traumatized with the whole thing, even though, like, it really didn't do much to me. And then my R.I.P., my grandmother calls the local newspaper. And so then I have to get interviewed with the woman and my car, which they then take a picture of, us next to this, like, Chevy Cavalier that I had at that time. It was my mom's car. I didn't have my own car. And we do this interview. My friend's aunt still has the article. No one in my family has it. My friend's aunt still has a copy of the article. And I have braces, so I'm trying to cover up the braces in this picture. So I like doing this weird like grin thing. You guys can't see, but I'm showing them. And the woman is quoted calling me her guardian angel in a blue Chevy. Come on.
Wow.
Now that story, actually, it does need to be juxtaposed against the fact that a couple months before that happened, during a snowstorm, I drove my car through a restaurant, like through the plate glass window of a restaurant while trying to park. I just slid right through the front of a Panera and like knocked over a table, and like the glass shattered all over my car, and I had to go in and get interviewed, and it was just horrifying. So these all happened like kind of close to each other. So the fact that like this car was in this newspaper article and had basically almost like taken out a restaurant.
So did they, in the article, did they say woman who previously terrorized
No!
a Panero is now an angel in a blue Chevy?
It's a story of redemption. No, they didn't, but I knew, and at that point, I'm just like, fuck. Guys, it was a lot happening.
That's insane.
It was a big senior year for me.
I've been in a lot of car accidents.
Really?
Oh, a ton.
I just had fender benders plus the restaurant.
Well, start from childhood. I was in 2 bus accidents as a child.
Oh my god, I did the same too! Bus
Yeah.
accidents, man!
I was like,
school bus, yeah.
Why don't I own most of Northern Illinois? My parents were not up on that lawsuit game.
And why aren't school buses, they can't be street safe or street legal. They don't even make sense to me. There's no safety belt. They're the most ridiculous.
Some of them do.
Do they now?
Yeah. Well, when I was a kid, like some of them
Crazy.
did, and it was only as punishment. You had to sit in the front of the bus, and you had to be strapped into your seat if like you couldn't behave.
You mean the only one that won't die, like in a serious
We didn't look at it that
punishment?
way. We did not look at it that way as children.
Oh my god.
But yeah, I remember one time we were like coming back from a field trip, and we're on the highway, and there's a van, like an older van, next to us, and I think I'm just annoyed with other children at this point, and I was just like sitting in the seat, and everyone's
As
like,
a child, you
screaming.
were just annoyed with other children. They were too childish for you.
They were like yelling, and I was like, ugh, God, you're ruining my Harry Potter. Like,
Right.
you're just like doing something that was annoying me. I just only wanted to read Harry Potter. As soon as I found it, I was like, yes.
How old were you?
Third grade. Would have been third grade for you.
4th grade, yeah. But like the van next to us, the wheels were on fire, and I was like,
Whoa.
Again,
Souped up?
Yeah.
Maybe?
well, no, this one looked like, this did not look intentional. I don't know that the wheels ever being on fire is a good look. But I was like, I'm always like reluctantly doing the right thing. I'm like, I just don't want to be involved is my first instinct.
No, I get it. Certainly.
But I'm like,
get
if
it.
I don't say anything, then they could
You're going to
die
hear
or
about
get-
it in the news, and you are going to feel an immense sense of, like, I get it, where you're like, why? Why? Does anyone else see this? Why am I
Yes.
forced to
participate in the world again.
I get it.
And so I did say something, and then I ended up getting a Girl Scout patch, which was weird because I had like recently dropped out of Girl Scouts.
But
they still gave it to me. Yeah, they still gave it to me like a safety patch, and I was like, I feel...
That's the worst way to reward someone who dropped out of something they didn't care about. I mean, at least give you Girl Scout cookies.
Or give you something that you actually
like,
want.
Honestly, you're a third grader. Throw you a $5. Like, anything would be better than a patch.
I do remember that on the bus when this was happening. But like every time I hear Mambo Number 5, I think of that bus that was on fire, because that's the song that was playing on my bus when the van was on fire. And it was Mambo Number 5. And I was like...
right?
Yeah, exactly. And like every time I hear that song, I think of like literally wheels on a van on fire. And I'm like...
Wait, so what did they do? They stopped the car? And...
Oh, yeah. We just like flagged them down from our bus. I like...
Why didn't they couldn't feel any heat? Like...
They couldn't see it because it's their tires. So, I mean, eventually the tire would have popped, and then they would have been like probably scared and veer off the road or something. But like, I said something, and then like we just all flagged them down. Like, your wheels are on fire.
I'm picturing you noticing the wheel on fire, pausing, letting out a really long sigh, going back to your book, noticing they're still on fire, and then like, fine.
Maybe doing a quick look around.
That is exactly what I did.
Yeah.
That is exactly accurate.
Couldn't be bothered.
You did the right thing, Tessa. Good for you.
You did do the right thing, because honestly, there could have been death and destruction involved, and you don't want that on your head. You don't want that on your conscience.
It's not my fault. It's Michelin's fault.
But look, guys, these are true
SFL story.
SFL stories. IRL SFL. Tessa and Tricia.
Heroes.
And we are a fucking motley pair. And we could still... I'm barely making it through this world.
We are a ragtag duo. Let's go back to the just overarching Captain Mar-Vell. So Captain Mar-Vell is part of a covert U.S. Air Force / NASA joint mission.
So like the SEALs of the... You know, it's actually Pegasus. Project. Yeah. It's not really like anything.
Yeah, it'd be like
Pegasus
Green
Project.
Berets.
Okay.
But not really, because they're women, so they can't fly in combat missions. So that's why they are testing planes for Annette Bening's character.
Yes.
What is her name? Dr. Lawson. Veers is Carol Danvers. When the guy finds her dog tag, it's just the Vers part, and he interprets it as Veers, and so that's what she's called, Veers. But she's Danvers, Carol Danvers. Man, there's so much to tell you. This is why Tricia's here, because I'm like, oh, but you don't know about the Creed. Let's go back and talk about Creed. But that's not important. So the Pegasus Project is run by Dr. Lawson, who is an Air Force aerospace engineer who is developing a light-speed engine covertly. We will find out more about this light-speed engine and who Dr. Lawson is as the movie progresses, but that's all we need to know for now. So the Skrulls are trying to get the light-speed engine in order to
invade other galaxies, or that's what they think at first, right? Yes. Is they're the bad guys and they're going to invade other galaxies.
Right. So there's an attack. So Dr. Lawson thinks that someone's coming to get her, which is true. So her and Carol Danvers take off. They're going to deliver the engine to Dr. Lawson's secret lab, which is in orbit. So they're taking off to go and deliver the lightspeed engine to
because they're going to be attacked.
Yeah, to take her work.
Okay.
And so she's like, well, we have to just go now. Someone's coming. So we have to just go now, and we'll figure it out once we get there. And so
sounds like a plan.
Sounds like a plan. I mean, if someone's out to get you, I mean, it's as well thought through as like any of my plans are.
For sure.
Mine's usually step A, plan.
Totally. That's how I ended up in a
B
restaurant.
or C.
Yeah. 0 plans. Okay.
So Carol and Dr. Lawson are on their way to the spaceship base that's in orbit. They're punching the coordinates, and then all of a sudden they're attacked. Brr, brr, brr. Yeah. Space battle number 1. And they are shot down. And Dr. Lawson's like, remember what I told you? the engine is supposed to stop wars.
End all wars, yeah.
So you're like, keep that in your back of your mind. You're like, what is this? So they're shot down, and then Dr. Lawson gets shot. Very dramatic. But Brie Larson, Carol Danvers is there, and she's like, with Dr. Lawson's last word, she's like, protect the engine. So she's about to, fight whoever's coming for it. Dun dun dun. Confrontation between the alien, and the Skrull and Brie, and she's like, wait, and then shoots the engine. It explodes. Boom. Superhero creation.
Okay. So that engine and the power or whatever, she just took it in.
Yeah.
After I have Sniper Bitch. Is that one of the people with Jude Law's character who's trying to fight her? I liked her.
She's good.
Yeah.
She's
she
good.
didn't
I had
talk a
some notes
lot.
about her.
She's just kind of,
Yeah, they just keep recycling that character. In every time there's a Kree, there's like her, or someone who looks exactly like her,
Really?
and plus 2 other Kree who are like other minorities.
Oh, she was a Kree? I thought
the
she was
Blue
with Jude Law.
Yeah. Jude Law is a Kree.
Jude Law's a Kree. I didn't put that together.
Because he doesn't have the skin, the blue skin, which I'm assuming is just in his contract. But then Jaimin Hansu, he was a black person.
Well, do you think they're like expats? Like they were on Earth and then they went to Kree because they wanted to be with the Kree people. So they're from Earth and they, or whatever.
Oh, or they're shapeshifters.
Kind of like Brie
Oh,
Larson. She was, what do they call Earth in this movie? Like
she's human, but she has Kree blood. She had a blood transfusion, so she has Kree blood, which is why the only reason I would assume that Jude Law is a Kree. Well, he is a Kree because he has blue blood, and so did Dr. Lawson.
Gotcha.
So it's just like not explained why some people are blue,
and why
some people, or maybe it's like a pure blood thing versus like.
Oh my God, blue bloods.
Blue blood.
Why some people are blue and why others just have blue blood.
Exactly.
We all actually have blue blood, but that being said,
It's true,
isn't it?
Yeah.
It's blue.
Then he gets oxygen. And turns red.
Science.
Boom.
Okay, so they, but then, so we see that she's created, and like before that even happens, we kind of see her sort of going, there's a lot of flashback and forth in this, so it might not even, it's not even worth to really like go back and forth with each flashback, because that would be insane.
Not the ones where she's growing up. Like, she's just like, does things that are like traditionally seen as male. She plays baseball and she gets knocked down. She goes go-karting and she like runs into a hay barrel.
In her training for the Air Force,
she takes big risks and she takes big hits.
Yeah.
Which seems to be the theme of like all the flashbacks, which I thought were fine. I didn't like any of the flashbacks that involved her best friend. I thought,
really?
I didn't, because I felt like they could have shown us that friend relationship more. Because if you see Captain America and the relationship between Bucky and Captain America, you see a lot of their relationships, so you really get kind of that grounded emotional level between those two characters. Like when something happens to Bucky in movies 2 and 3, you're like, I'm with Captain America. That's my fucking best friend. Whereas I didn't get that same feeling from these characters because we only meet her in flashback, and then she has like the one emotional scene when she's telling her who she is, but I'm like, I don't know who the fuck you are.
I agree. I liked them. I like getting context.
Yeah.
Because I don't have any, but that being said, I didn't feel emotionally connected to their relationship at all.
No, and I'm like, part of me puts that on Brie as an actress, because I really felt like that. I don't have her name written down, but the black character, I'm forgetting her name. The best friend. Maria Rambeau and Carol Danvers. I would have really liked to have seen a deeper relationship between the two of them. I felt like seeing everything about them in flashback really didn't serve us well as an audience, especially looking at other friend relationships. Even the relationship between brothers in Thor and Loki, or friends between, like, even Groot and Rocket Raccoon in
I'm nodding like I know. But you
but like those characters
will
can't
know.
communicate, and I felt that there's a stronger connection
Yeah.
between the two of them, and also Captain America and Bucky. Like it didn't have to be a romantic relationship for them to really connect on that level, and
I agree.
recognize that it's a character choice because Brie Larson's character has been a Kree for 6 years, and Kree are not emotional.
So she became a Kree when she got hit with that.
Yes, when the engine explodes and it like imparts all of its like partial Tesseract powers on her.
Kree?
Well, she's like close to death. So in order to save her life, Jude Law explains that they had to do a blood transfusion, and the Kree blood is just much, and that's why she's
okay.
And also like I forgot that, and I was like, why is she super strong? Like at what point did she get like a super like injection of strength? Because when she's like kicking ass on that alien spaceship, she's like punching like big ass alien guys.
Isn't that from the plane crash?
That's from the Kree blood is what's giving her the strength. The lightning bolts, was it a photon ray?
And why is it only in her hand?
She can make it anywhere at the end.
Right, but in the beginning she doesn't know how to.
She doesn't know how. Mm-hmm. And she thinks that the thing that's on her neck is giving her the power. So why would you test it if you think that this is what's controlling it and they've only given you so much? I mean, I wouldn't think to.
Wow, now that is definitely, there's a lot of like metaphor.
Oh my god.
Metaphors here. Because just even that, like the thing that you think is doing something for you isn't, and you can kind of like open yourself up to more strengths. I mean, I was just like, alright, hit me on the fucking head. I got it.
Dude.
But I
think Disney has some morality tales.
Yeah.
Marvel is loaded with them.
I was really like, oh my goodness, set us free. The truth shall set us free. I loved it. But actually, that's the part, and it is kind of jumping ahead to the very end, but Zach said that he has an issue with superhero movies. He loves sci-fi, loves fantasy and stuff, but superhero movies, he can't get past the fact that, like, they can always, when confronted with a problem, they end up just being able to do anything. Do you know what I mean? So, like, at the very end, all of a sudden, like, she just has the strength to, like...
Oh. But I think that's what's so particularly devastating about the Avengers movies that just happened, is that they lose.
Oh, really?
And it is devastating. I cried, like, 3 times. It was, like, me and a group
so
of
I didn't
12-year-old
even know
boys
that.
bawling in a Regal movie theater, because...
Sharing your gummy worms, trying to feel better.
It was the saddest thing that's, I think, ever happened to me as an adult. But I was bawling, and these, like, 12-year-old boys were, like, also bawling. They all die. Not all of them, but, like, all of my favorite characters did. Or Loki.
Oh my god, I don't know anything about any of that. Okay, so it's not always like that in superhero
not.
movies.
Well, it often is. Like, in their individual movies, they all...
Where it's just like, I'm up against a wall. Well, all of a sudden now I've got, like, this ability to do this, and now this has happened. Mm-hmm. Well, looks like I could fly now. Like, that kind of thing.
Exactly. And I feel like it's even more consistent, in my opinion, in the Marvel comics as opposed to DC. Like, Batman, Wonder Woman, Superman, you get... Well, not Superman, but let's just use Batman.
Slightly more human.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Or Jessica Jones.
Like
Jessica Jones. Like, him and I talked about her also, and, like, there's always, you know, she has an alcohol problem, is suffering from PTSD, and you look at her character and you're like, she could actually die. Mm-hmm. Like, those types of characters.
Yeah. I think they're a little bit, darker, or I guess more human than the Marvel characters, who always seem to figure it out because they band together. You've always got a friend who's a little stronger than you, who can do a little something else than you, and blah, and blah, and blah. But Marvel is more fun.
You got a friend in me. She's having flashbacks, and we're seeing that she's a human.
Yes.
Right, and has had struggles.
Yes, so we know that she's human, because we can look at her and see that she's a human. But she's lost all of her memory, and she's been hanging out and living with the Kree and amongst the Kree for 6 years. And this is where the movie actually begins, if you're going, like, you know, minute 1 of the movie. Mm-hmm. We meet Brie Larson's character in the Kree capital of Hala. Hala? Mm-hmm. I was like, why didn't they do that once? Come on, give us something.
I know! It's too good of a name. It feels too good to say.
Right?
Sounds too good. I don't know why. I know. Annette Bening, if she could have just thrown a hello when she was dying, it would would have made me so happy. Okay, so we see her in Hala.
Yeah, and she's training with Jude Law's character.
Tell me about this dream.
Anything new?
No.
You have to let go of the past.
I don't remember my past.
It's causing you doubt, and doubt makes you vulnerable. Control it.
Get used to deal with your emotions. Don't let your emotion. That's a big thing that they like are always telling.
Yeah, because she's a woman.
And that's sort of, I'm like, okay, I don't think emotions are bad. I'm a bit of an emotional avoider, but I am very emotional, and that's why I try to avoid them, right? And like, but they kind of like make it seem like it's a bad thing for her to have them, and she can't be a warrior with them. And then I think, well, would they be doing this? Would that be the issue of a male superhero, that he had his emotions got in the way? I mean,
yeah, I think that happens a lot in this Marvel movies.
Oh, do they? See, this is why I don't know anything.
No, but that's good, because I wouldn't think to bring that up.
Yeah.
But like, if you look at Tony Stark, who is kind of like you, he's an avoider, very extremely. I said it. I was like, right. But I just mean, like, he does those things. Like, he isn't a very emotional guy. He loves Pepper Potts, his assistant turned fiance.
Oh yeah.
Very emotional. Loves
Avoid
his
it,
parents.
and then they kind of bust out though.
Yeah, and that's kind of what happens in Captain America: Winter Soldier, is when we get Bucky back, and we find out that Bucky is the one who. Spoilers, but again, you've already listened this far. Bucky is the one who killed Tony Stark's parents. Dun dun dun. And then obviously the guy who killed your parents has to die. But that's Captain America's best friend. Chaos ensues. Bucky goes to Wakanda. What? Wakanda.
Oh, Jesus.
Right. That shit was crazy. I loved it.
So that's just a theme throughout, is that her emotions sort of get the best of her. But here's the thing. She doesn't appear to be emotional.
Well, that's the Kree.
At all during the
Compared
movie.
to
So I'm
humans.
sort of like, she like smiles every once in a while, and they're like, bring those emotions down, girl. And I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah, but that's very much a Kree characteristic. Like, if you looked at any of the other Kree soldiers, like that, especially that other woman, just like nothing.
Yeah.
The whole movie.
But then why do they keep telling her to not let them get the best of her? She
Because
has Kree blood now.
She doesn't know that she's human. She thinks she's Kree and just doesn't remember her beginnings. She just thinks she has amnesia and doesn't remember being like a child.
So it's partly them trying to keep her in check.
Yes.
And maybe not discovering her past and...
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she has no idea that she's a human. She thinks, because like Jude Law looks humanoid, but is actually Kree, and she has the blue blood, so why would she think...
Okay.
You know.
Weird. Okay. Well, now that makes a little more sense. Jesus.
Oh, the mission. So they're going to a neighboring planet to retrieve their fallen soldier. And it's obviously Veers' team. Veers is Carol Danvers' team, who's deployed on this rescue mission to go and get this guy from a neighboring planet. They can encounter who they believe are friendly aliens, but they're actually these shape-shifting Skrulls. And it's a trap. It's a trap to catch Carol Danvers, because
they want to get in her head.
Because they know that she carries the energy signature that matches, and for some reason Carol Danvers has it. But they don't know why, so they capture her and they try to get into her head, get all her memories out, and that's where it's
a little Inception-y.
It is.
Like with that, where they're like, look closer,
Yeah.
like within sort of
I
stuff. I was sort of like, ooh, I do like that sort of dream play. Stuff.
And I loved both the intelligence. I like the idea of the intelligence that you, when you die, you just become a part of a greater intelligence. I was like,
Veers.
Intelligence?
Your commander insists that you're fit to serve.
I am.
You struggle with your emotions, with your past which fuels them. You are just one victim of the Skrull expansion that has threatened our civilization for centuries. Imposters who silently infiltrate, then take over our planets. Horrors that you remember and so much that you do not.
What a beautiful thing.
Is that what they think? Wait, what?
Mm-hmm. So when a Kree dies, you don't just disappear. You become part of a greater intelligence. So that's what she was fighting when she was... but you can plug into it like it's software. Kind of like the Matrix combined with like every Kree spirit.
Weird. So part of a greater intelligence, what does that mean? Like, not... like with your body? With your...
So I'm gonna explain it like if all of humanity was iTunes, you would become a song. Just a part of iTunes. You're just a song now, and then anybody can download it and like listen to you and get insight from you.
I want to be a song when I die.
That was for you, Apple.
I want to be a song when I die.
That's kind of the Kree, belief. So when you
I like that.
meet your intelligence, that's why it looks like someone you love and something you recognize because it's kind of part of you. It's your parents. It's your everything you've ever loved and everything you've ever hated. So it comes to something familiar.
Love.
And they couldn't control her intelligence, so the fact that she was seeing Dr. Lawson.
Right. And
because they would have if they could have.
Well, they were trying to find Dr. Lawson.
The Kree were not.
Oh, okay.
They were just trying to prevent Veers.
Sorry, not the Kree. The Skrulls.
The Skrull were. They were.
Yeah.
I don't know if they knew that she was dead, but I'm assuming they did.
But they thought she like had some information. Like they were trying to find out what the connection was and what was on her coat.
Yeah. Yeah, because they had somehow been communicating because half of the Skrull were already on the ship somehow. So she had to be going in between and communicating with somebody somehow.
Yeah.
Spoilers again.
So then what happens, now this is where it gets real confusing, is where are we, so they kind of kidnap her, she gets away and they're looking in her head, but then she like falls through a blockbuster. So when is this now, where are we in terms of like any sort of flashback with her friend versus what, where are the 90s?
So all the flashbacks with her friends, with her friend Maria Rambeau, are happening in 1989 or before.
Okay.
So she's been gone for 6 years, which doesn't make sense because why is time both on Earth and on planet Hala the same?
But that's fine.
But fine, we'll let it go.
Yeah.
These are just my musings.
It's just like France in Beauty and the Beast.
Oh, yeah. It's like sometimes very close and other times a great deal away.
And no one has an accent. Okay. That's fine.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, so when she's falling through when she tries to escape the Skrull ship and falls through the blockbuster, that's 1996. 1995. She's been gone for 6 years.
So she hasn't been back to Earth yet?
No. She thinks she's never been to Earth. Or excuse me, planet C-53.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Oh my god. I miss video stores.
Me too!
Can we just take a moment? So, Blockbuster. She falls right through it, and then they're like, what the fuck? And then Samuel L. Jackson, who's looking fine. Like, you don't think so?
No.
I mean, I just think he's aging very well.
No,
that was
CGI.
Really?
I think they CGI'd his face to make him younger. But Coulson was there, and I love him, the white cop.
Yeah, what's he from?
Everything.
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Okay. He plays
Captain
a cop-ish.
America.
He has that face, right?
Yeah. He's fantastic. But I was like, this is either very thick makeup or they CGI'd his face. He looked good.
I was like, you don't look like, I mean, how old is he?
100.
Like, he's gotta be really old now. Like, really old.
He looked like he did in Pulp Fiction, so I was like...
Let's find that out. Yeah. I'm guessing he's almost 70.
100.
Whoa, on the nose.
100.
Yeah.
70?
He's 70.
Damn it.
And he does, I mean, he looks like 55 in that movie.
But I'm looking at him right now. He does not look 55.
She just kind of chats with them. She's really not afraid of them because she's like, I'm just visiting on this planet.
Yeah, she thinks she's going to get picked up any moment now.
She don't care.
Because spaceships.
Right.
And then, so she falls to Earth, and then so do the Krull who are chasing her, or trying to kidnap her, to get her, continue to mind rape her.
Yeah,
she gets away. She falls in the blockbuster. They fall on the beach. So she meets Sam Jackson and Agent Coulson.
How long do you plan to be in town?
Oh, I'll be out of your hair as soon as I track down the Skrulls that are infiltrating your planet.
Skrulls?
Shapeshifters. They can transform to any life form down to the DNA. Oh boy, you guys don't have any clue, do you?
Whoa, hold on. How do we know you're not one of those shapeshifters?
Congratulations, Agent Fury. You have finally asked a relevant question.
Oh, congratulations to you, Star Force lady. You're under arrest.
She has to get away from them in order to keep chasing the Krull, who try to attack them. And this is the part where things get a little shady. At some point, Agent Coulson is kidnapped and impersonated by a Krull.
Love that. I liked it, and I knew.
I had a suspicion the first time I saw it, and I was like, that's not him, because he was acting weird when he got in the car, and I was like...
He was acting weird, and he had a very strange reaction, and I thought it was just, that was supposed to show us that it wasn't really him. And we had already seen someone change after they had died.
Yeah,
like,
back into an alien.
Back into an alien, so I was like, ha! This guy. Because he said something about her. It was something weird about her.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or no, he said, did you see that? Samuel L. Jackson, he said... No, I didn't. Like, I didn't see anything, and I'm like, oh, fuck you. Yes, you did. Look at your face. You're, like, paid to see things.
You're paid
to see things, yeah.
I loved it. And so Brie Larson takes off trying to catch a Krull who is on an L train?
Yeah,
elevated
I like that.
Train? I was like, I didn't know they
An
had
old
those
lady,
in LA.
an old lady Skrull.
I audibly gasped
when she was beating,
when she kicked her in the face.
It's uncomfortable to see her beat up an old lady, even though you know that it's not an old lady.
But still, this would be like where my natural reaction is like, that old lady did something. I would try to not interfere.
Oh my god.
The alien versus old lady battle. I'm impressed by the LA, the citizens of LA for stepping in. Even though that old lady was very much handling her own. I would be like, oh, she's got this.
Yeah.
She's like flipping around and like doing like crazy shit all over the place. And
she looked like she was expecting it. That's what it seemed like to me. I'm like, alright, well, she expected that to happen, so.
Exactly. So Brie kicks the old lady's ass, but then loses her in the train tunnel. So she decides to do more research. She's like, I gotta find out more information about this Dr. Lawson who's in my head. And what she remembers is that the shirt that Dr. Lawson was wearing in the flashback said Pegasus. So she's going to find Pegasus as her new goal. So she sets out to do that. Blah, blah, blah. Stuff happens.
Oh, wait, hold on. Stanley is in the train reading Mallrats.
I loved that.
Very sweet. I liked it.
R.I.P. Stanley. Thank you for everything you did.
Brie Larson, she's somewhere, and a guy pulls up in a motorcycle, and he says, lighten up, honey, can you smile for me?
So she's just left the internet cafe, which, hilarious.
And like, who the fuck, like,
It's just a random
And as
asshole.
women, I mean, I've gotten that before. I'm sure you guys have. I mean, it's fucking annoying. So I love what she does. She just takes his motorcycle.
Exactly.
Fuck that.
He wasn't using it.
SFL, bitch.
Exactly. And I was like, but I also felt like that, I don't know, I felt like that whole scene was a little pandery, but I was like, whatever.
I know it was, but I fall for that stuff all the time. I do. Like, all the obvious, like, ta-da, I'm awesome scenes. I just, oh my god.
I don't know. I'm just like really, really comparing this movie a lot to Wonder Woman and how good it was.
I've got to see that. And you brought that up. Beauty and the Beast. You said she just said no to everyone.
Yeah. But she did it in like such a, I just love the way she was written to say no. Captain Marvel does the same thing. She is quite the badass.
Yeah.
And she's constantly telling people no, and that's not how I'm going to do it. And And I like Brie, I like Captain Marvel because she doesn't apologize for saying no, or the way she's saying no. She's just saying no. Whereas I feel like a lot of women would be like, no, and then immediately follow that up with, oh, I'm sorry, or like trying to protect your feelings, and like Brie's just like, fuck, no, I'm not doing it. That's 100%. Dumb. That's not what we're doing.
And I do think that is something that is still incredibly prevalent, not just in like movies, and not just female characters, but just women. Oh yeah. And as a woman, I have a hard time saying no to certain things if it's easier to just say yes, because I don't, for some reason, and I don't know what it is, but like the no from a woman is met with more resistance sometimes.
Justified.
Like, an emotional resistance, even from people you love, or like your boss or your coworker. Like, no without any justification doesn't feel like enough, and that is deep in me. It's actually something I'm trying to work on in terms of just boundary setting, because I can then overwhelm myself with yesing, and then I freak out, and then I'm like, no to everything. Yeah. And then I just like it just, that's not good either. Yeah. So it just it's weird.
It is. It's weird, and especially like when I was starting out in stand-up, there's so many times that I just naturally say I'm sorry and apologizing for going in any way against the grain, or saying no, and I just like out of natural reflex. Yeah. Not natural reflex. It's taught reflex. It's not anyone's natural
systemic.
Reflex, but yeah, it's systemic. Yeah. But it also plays into like dating, and like I feel like the no doesn't really stick a lot from women, because like men are also conditioned to keep asking. Yes. It's like it doesn't work that I say no because you never accept no.
Right. And then you don't follow through with your no. Yeah. So then the asking continues anyways, because it's known that the no will eventually become yes. Yeah. Like, and
I will break you down. And I'm like, okay.
Hillary, I imagine you are pretty good at asserting a boundary. Is that right?
Like when it comes to work, I say yes to everything.
Really?
Yeah. But it's kind of my job, so that's me like just doing my job well.
And I don't want to assume anything, but you do have the kind of straightforward personality where I would think you might be taken more seriously, because you don't really seem to convey like a ton of emotion.
In this moment, love that you feel that way. I don't think. Yeah. I don't think I'd put myself more in the I say yes a lot and apologize a lot too.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I say no a lot, but I feel guilty about it. I actually just want to eliminate the guilt part. I think I've gotten a lot better at saying my no is no, and it's because I don't give an explanation. It's just no. Because then that's where the guilt sets in. I was like, well, then I'm justifying it to you, which means I'm justifying it to me, why I deserve to say no. And I was like, well, but I could. I mean, I could. And so I just gotta be no as a complete sentence.
Or no, but I could, blah, blah, blah. Or, kind of couch it with something.
Yeah, that's the guilt for me. And I'm like, oh, but, that person just wanted to hang out, or they just wanted to do blah, blah, blah. And I was like, but that doesn't work for me.
Like, I hate to say it, like, I'm a very, like, assertive person. I have a lot of confidence in certain areas, and I am myself most times. But sometimes I feel like I mold myself around just, I don't know, like people in my life, coworkers, just kind of like to fit the mood, to kind of like, like, I love that quote that Juno had, and I mean, I felt like this at points in my life where she's like, I just want to be a piece of furniture in your weird life. Like, I feel like I do that in my own way, but it's just, I don't know, it's very bizarre.
No, I totally get that, but I think it also comes from my childhood and kind of being a piece of furniture in my parents' life.
I feel like I felt like a piece of furniture too.
And I was like, I'm just here for for this drama. And I think that's where it comes from, because like there's no winning in choosing sides. There's no, and in my family a lot of times there's no option to say no.
And if you're the kid that they're not worried about, which was the case with me, out of like, one brother was out of the house and my other brother had a lot of stuff going on, and then I was the one that was just kind of like, well, you're fine.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we know you're going to be fine. So
Yeah.
we're going to do all this focus on the one who is, who needs more help and is like just going off the rails, and you do end up kind of being like a piece of furniture a little bit, and you're like, okay, well then I'll just handle the stuff on my own by sucking down a carton of cigarettes and watching Oprah at 16.
Whatever,
That's
I
fine.
saved a woman and her son from a car fire, so.
Exactly.
But I still
Suck on
saved
that,
someone.
Mom.
Yeah, suck on that. Camelite, Mom.
We're at Pegasus Institute, so we finally made our way to Pegasus Institute. Samuel L. Jackson and Carol Danvers, aka Agent Fears, aka Captain Marvel, are in the records room trying to find out what happened during this plane crash that killed Dr. Lawson. They somehow, having no directory, walk exactly to the file where where all the pertinent information is.
She doesn't even pretend to not. She just really just walks right up
exactly to it. And I was
They're
like,
just like, forget it.
Yeah.
We're not even bothering. There's no Dewey Decimal System here.
Yeah.
She just knows.
Just halfway through that long ass records room.
She didn't even
happen to find the
She didn't even go like.
So they find it. They open the file and they find like all this information about the crash. They find like these aerial photos that show the plane has been, or the aircraft has been destroyed. They find a picture of Lawson, and guess who's in the background? Fucking Carol Danvers.
She sees herself. She's like, "Fuck me."
Yeah, she's like, "What's going on? Why was I on C-53?
I'm not even human.
I'm not even human." She's like, "I have reason to believe that I had a past life here."
But she does not tell Samuel L. But meanwhile, Samuel is sort of maneuvering because he's going to give her up.
He is trying to get out of that room.
Oh yeah, they get stuck in a room.
Yeah, they get stuck in the security room, and then he's like, "This probably isn't the best." So he's trying to get S.H.I.E.L.D. to come as backup.
Oh, that's why.
To bust them out, and then he's like, "Well, let me do this fingerprint thing with a piece of tape."
But he says, "I'm in here with the target."
Yeah.
So it made it sound like he was trying to
called
get
her an asset.
Oh, okay. I thought he was trying to get her in trouble, like capture her.
No. They're very much on the same team at this point.
Okay.
But yeah, when she went back for him, I was like, yeah, that's what makes you a superhero and me a common person. Because I would have been like, ooh, it's time for me to exit. Gats to go. I mean, but she does have superpowers. I guess, once one life saved.
and we see that, what's his character's name? Samuel L. I can't.
Fury.
I like when we meet.
Yeah, I love the conversation where he's like, "What does your grandma call you? Fury. What does your children call you? Fury. What does your mom call you? Fury?" And I was like, "I want that. I want a cool last name."
Now what happens?
So they're taking off. They're going to Louisiana because now they got to meet Maria Rambeau. They got to find out the rest of the story because they can't confirm that Carol was the pilot of the plane. They just know that she was in the Air Force at the same time as Dr. Lawson. So they're going to go to Louisiana. You're going to meet Maria Rambeau, and they're going to find out the rest of the story. And that's exactly what they do. And
you gotta be bold. You gotta be
smarter.
Gotta be wiser. We've got to really make some honorable mentions to this music.
The music was awesome.
Salt and Pepper played.
Yeah, TLC.
Garbage.
Mm-hmm. So we're in Louisiana, and we are there to meet Maria Rambeau. We're going to figure out what the fuck is going on, if they're friends, if they're co-workers. So we walk with Carol Danvers onto the property, and we see Maria Rambeau working on her plane with her adorable daughter Monica, and Brie Larson's character Carol Danvers is just like, "I'm looking for Maria Rambeau."
And so it's clear that she knows.
She knows she should know her.
Yeah. And Maria knows her, and knows something is weird.
Yeah.
And it's like not really her.
Yeah.
Even though she's not like in a weird spacesuit or anything, but it's still weird. She's still giving off a weird vibe.
Yeah, she's walking up to her as if she hasn't been gone for 6 years, like a fucking ghost. And it's Louisiana, so it might be a ghost. I think that state's haunted. They got a lot of bad juju.
That is kind of, just walking up like nothing fucking happened.
Yeah, just like she's been on timeout for 6 years. Like, oh.
And like with a purpose. Like expecting to get in and just kind of like start. Okay, so then they end up having this sort of
powwow. We get all of the like family photos, and you find out about like the little girl's nickname is Captain Trouble, and Maria Rambo is her best friend, and they went through flight school together. And
Rambo tells her, you know, how hurt she was that she had disappeared.
I loved that little monologue that she had where she told her about like, this isn't the hard part. The hard part is losing your friend for 6 years and having her just show up again.
Yeah.
After it being covered up that she even basically existed.
So she thought that she had died? Is that what
she knew
Rambo thought?
Well, she knew that there was like no investigation into it, and she knew that they weren't looking for her, and she just had to pretend like nothing happened.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe she thought she was dead, but she knew that there was no answer.
Yeah, because if she was dead, they would have at least given her family a body.
Yeah.
So that would be my biggest suspicion, that like she's not dead, like she's in witness protection, or she's
and that's like worse.
Oh yeah, to just be like on the other side,
or just
like 3 towns over. Like you'd never know.
Idea.
Yeah.
Witness protection, man.
It sounds so awesome.
It sounds crazy.
It sounds awesome.
I kind of want to read a book or something about someone who's in that. I mean, I can't even imagine
all those mob families.
Yeah, just what you have to, and the children. Oh my God, I can't even imagine not being able to be authentic at all with new people. And then the worst part is leaving other people and not being able to say goodbye.
I love lying to strangers. It's probably my favorite pastime. I'll never see you again.
No, but what if you fell in love and then you have to...
Even better, then we'll have an amazing story.
But they'll never know who you are.
And I'll never know who they are, maybe.
You will, unless they're in witness protection too, and you guys are witness protectioning all over each other with your lies and stories.
Ooh,
How fun is that?
kinky.
People do that all
You're
the
what?
time.
I said, ooh, kinky.
I know. You're like, what's your lie? This is my lie.
People do that all the time. When their husband and wives, they meet at a hotel bar and pretend to be somebody else. We're just doing that, but real.
This is where it gets pathological again, Tessa. Like with Clueless. We've talked about this. It's not good. It's not good to lie.
It's not. Are you talking about it's not illegal? It's just uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Yes. Not. What is it? Uncomfortable. Not illegal. For sure. I mean, witness protection. It would be kind of like a fun acting job. Like your life is an acting job.
Right. Brie Larson.
She's telling her what's
the
going
rundown, the 6 years of history. She's getting the pictures and photographs, and like she had a bad relationship with her parents, and you know, more photographs of her as a child, you know, doing the go-karts. And so all those flashbacks in the very beginning are starting to make sense because they're no longer flashbacks, they're fitting in time and in mind.
But then a scroll comes in
and it's so cool. I love that guy.
He was so funny. I have a quote. He said, wait a second before you start waving those jazz hands around. I thought that was so... It was delivered
and I was like, was
so
he
well.
Irish? Because I was like, I don't know. I really enjoyed his accent. I don't know where he was from.
I thought he was Australian.
I think it was the same guy.
It's the same actor as the blind kid.
Yeah, so he's Australian.
Yeah. Okay, well, I find his accents to be very
I think he's Australian. But I was just like, you are so funny now. Yeah.
Yeah, I loved him. I thought he was a delight. I hope they bring his character back. I don't know how, but
what did
I want them to come back.
They like put the CD...
oh God.
So they have the audio, and then it's another
find a black box
thing to the 90s with the like zzz, and the loading and whatever. Okay, and that is kind of funny. I get it. So then, but when we're listening to the audio, then she gets a flashback to Lawson dying.
Doesn't make sense because there's no way that was being recorded, in my opinion.
Okay.
Because if the plane has gone down, don't those things stop recording like at impact? Why would it keep recording?
Oh, like of her talk? Is it the recording of her talking to her?
Yeah, and then like Brie has all the information. Her memory isn't fully back, but she has a picture of what's actually happening. And so she knows that the Skrull are really not the enemy.
Right.
The Kree are the bad guys.
Right.
which if you were already following Marvel, you knew since the very beginning of the movie, like myself, and was just like kind of underwhelmed with this reveal.
So I was liking the reveal as someone who didn't know, and the Skrull was telling her that they just wanted a home.
They did, because
just wanted a home.
Fucking Kree blew up their planet, as is their MO. It's kind of a submit or be destroyed is the deal.
So we do, in that flashback, we see that energy core thing again, but like we already knew.
But this is also the very exciting part. So the Tesseract...
I mean, we already knew that that's what blew up and gave her powers. So
that was the engine.
Oh.
And then the Tesseract is on the ship. So they... So we decided to reunite the Skrulls with Dr. Lawson's invention. So they're going to take them up to the ship.
So they take her up to space, and he just but really what he wanted to do was find his family.
Yeah, he's not mentioned that yet, but his family is who we find on the ship. And I was like, so sweet.
I know, so sweet. They are refugees.
Yeah, but back to that Tesseract.
Okay, right.
This is why I need to go back and watch Captain America, the first one. So I'm very excited. If you are up on your Marvel shit and already know what I'm getting at, is how does the Tesseract go from that Catapus to Fury to Antarctica? I'm missing something. Because isn't that where they find it? You didn't see the movie. Isn't that where they find it? Isn't that where they find it?
I know. I'm so sorry. You're all alone here because I'm not even really sure what the fuck that thing was.
So that's the square.
Yeah, but like what's Tesseract?
That's what it's called. It's called a Tesseract.
But is
it's
that
like
just
a big
made up word, or is that?
Yeah, it's a made up word.
Okay.
But inside the Tesseract, we find in the last Avengers movie is a fucking Infinity Stone. So Thanos, the villain from the most recent Avengers movies. So his big thing is that he wants to eliminate half of the species in existence. So of every planet, of every living organism, in a snap of a finger, he can eliminate half in order to like reset all of these Earths and planets so that there's enough resources. Huh?
Because he has all five.
Because he has all five. So it's
so why is one of them? He doesn't have all five.
He doesn't have all five. So that's what he's searching for in the last Avengers movie, and he gets them. So inside the Tesseract, we find out in the Avengers movie is the Space Stone, which is the one it's kept on Earth, and so that's why I wanted to go back to the very first Captain America movie, because that's when we were first introduced to the Tesseract as an object that people want, and so through the Marvel universe, different people have it. Like Captain America has it for a while, and then Loki steals it, and Thor has it, and it's like it's all over the place. And I was like, and it's the Space Stone, so she can travel like theoretically. That's how like you can travel the fastest through space and time. You can literally like walk through time. It's crazy.
They're on the spaceship, and then Jude Law just barges in like a jerk, and then they all get into a fight.
Yeah, chaos ensues, and then Brie loses. She is captured. Mm-hmm. And then they try to hook her up to the motherboard, kind of like a motherboard mixed with space, like all these like shooting lasers and stuff. This time they go in and it has like a record playing. I don't think that's Nirvana on the record.
Yeah, there was some Nirvana song playing at some point. And I don't know when it was. Yeah. But it was in around that scene. It's definitely Nirvana.
It might be the fight scene.
But when she sees Annette Bening again, or Lawson, she's taunting Brie this time, right? Like, or sorry, they're taunting her with different versions of herself. Hold on. I don't know what's going on. I don't know. She gets up to fight Lawson, all of the versions of herself. You know, like the little girl stands up who got beaten down.
Those are just flashbacks.
But they all kind of like get up.
Yeah, they bring home that theme is that, like, you know, what does Captain Marvel do? What do women do? They get knocked down, they get back up.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, which, again, is a little pandery.
And then we find out that Lawson is really an alien.
We already knew that.
Oh, right. All right.
Some people found out that Lawson was
Guys, I knew that in this conversation because of you. This is when I found out Lawson is really an alien from planet Hala. Is my note. This is the time where I found that out. We are.
Well, then correct. You're correct. You're dead to fuck on. And she is an alien. Yeah, and then she's also the, like, I'm going to keep calling it the infinite wisdom, the infinite power.
Infinite wisdom.
Yeah, I forget the name of it. But yeah, so they're, so it's taunting her, you're right, and saying, you're nothing without the power we gave you, what can be given can be taken away, blah, blah, blah. And then Brie...
The Skrulls are doing that too. No, the Kree
are.
Okay, the Kree are.
Those Kree assholes.
But then she just fucking wilds out.
Yeah.
And grabs that motherfucking chip thing out of her, and she's like...
The thing they put on her neck is actually a power. It suppresses her powers. But they couldn't even do that correctly because they couldn't suppress it completely, which was interesting. Because in other people who've interacted with the Kree and had that thing on them, like, completely shuts their powers down.
So they never wanted her to have that hand?
They probably didn't want her to rebel against them.
Yeah. As long as they could
she
control
would have been strong.
her,
Yeah, she would have been
weapon.
way stronger than Jude Law. And
yeah.
No one wants
and the
that.
Kree collect weapons, which comes up kind of like if you're paying very close attention, like the... so like in the very last fight sequence when Jude Law is back in Louisiana, he calls for his Kree like brethren to come and help him. And when Brie kicks everyone's asses and throws all those rockets like back at them, he's like, we're gonna come back, assuming that it's for the weapon. And they're like, no, the woman. The Kree collect warriors and weapons, which I don't know why they would say it if it's not gonna come back.
You did say the woman.
But that's what they do. They're horrible creatures who just kill and destroy.
I love that. So then she just basically just starts kicking ass to No Doubt.
Yeah, pretty much. I'm just a
Which
girl.
was kind of fun. I was sort of like, it's kind of cheesy, and then I also loved it.
Yeah.
I felt
again
things.
A little pandery.
I know, but I loved it.
But yeah.
I can't help it.
The biggest songs of 1995. I get with her too.
And it was. So then she's fighting against Jude Law, right? And that's when she just goes, okay. And she goes ape shit, and she's just basically like flying, like she just has this crazy ass power where she is.
She's trying to like, attack him in his spaceship, and then like is somehow hanging on to the spaceship, and I was like, that should be superpower enough.
I know.
Bitch is super strong.
She does like warp into a different.
Yeah, I did write multiple times that I fucking hate Brie's wigs, and I fucking hate that helmet.
Her mohawk
helmet.
Yeah.
I hated that shit.
Oh.
Hated when every time she took it off and her hair like fell down back into perfect place, and I was like,
yeah.
But I did like sometimes she did kind of have like a wild thing going. I was like, why are you doing this sometimes and then not other times?
Yeah. What do you?
That was a minor detail.
So she when she's like talking to Jude Law, she sends him in a spaceship, right? Mm-hmm. She doesn't kill him. She like sends him in a little ship with a message.
Yeah, to the Supreme Intelligence. I remember. I redeemed myself.
Supreme Intelligence, yes. And I like when she tells him, he's like, prove yourself to me. And he's trying to get into a big old fight with her. And then she says that she has nothing to prove to him.
Exactly.
I love that.
I don't need to justify my no. It's a no.
No means no!
No is a fucking complete sentence, Jude Law.
Okay, so the strong female lead.
Maria Rambo.
Right. Jude Law. The strong female lead is the guy from Bloodline.
Oh, yeah.
Obviously, Mar-Vell.
Mar-Vell.
So, strong female lead, obviously, Brie.
Yes.
Okay. And our definition of strong female lead, the SFL definition, is that they have their own agency, they're top billed, and they are impacted or impact the plot line throughout.
Right.
I mean,
check, and check. She
does it all. She was.
It's very obviously her movie, and it's very obvious that this was meant to be a movie that is empowering to women.
Yeah.
Made for us.
Not by us.
Yeah, I was gonna say not by us.
Made for us by us? No, yeah. Probably not.
I'm very curious who was in the writer's room for this movie, just because in some scenes it does seem extremely pandery.
Like they're throwing us a bone.
Yeah, like come on. But also, like, to the younger generation who this is actually probably made for, wouldn't read this as pandering.
No.
Yeah.
No, I wouldn't.
It's just another badass woman kicking ass in space, which is all I wanted, Valerian.
Yeah, seriously. Yes, and I honestly, I mean, it could have been pandery. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
You know, like, it didn't...
Every now and again, you like to be pandered to. Give me exactly what I'm looking for.
It didn't really, like, I'm frankly, just all through life, please, guys, just give me what I'm actually looking for. Guys, like...
I was a little surprised.
I would like, so I think, what was your favorite SFL moment with Captain Mar-Vell? Which I'm saying with disdain.
I don't think I have a favorite moment. I'm very curious what's going to happen in the Avengers movies, which is why I had to see the movie twice. Yes, it's been out for 1 week, and I've seen it twice. I'm very interested to see what happens next with Captain Marvel, just because I did feel like a lot of it was very pandery. So I'm kind of looking for more honest moments that are Carol Danvers. I did, like, my favorite scene in general was the conversation between Maria Rambeau and Carol Danvers when Maria is telling Carol who she is. Mm-hmm. I thought that was, like, you know, kind of saying, like, sometimes as a person going through life in general, like, you will lose sight of who you are and who you stand for, and that is why you have family and friends in the family that you choose, and so it's even more important that those people are on your side and on the same track, and, like, you can trust them when you can't see, like, in the dark. It's like a co-pilot thing. It's all I get it.
I just
get what you were doing.
You're so good. Friends of the family that you choose.
Yeah.
It's true. And just having her disappear.
Yeah. That's why, again, I was like, I see so much potential in this relationship. And, like, I wanted to be there every step of the way.
There's
with
more
that
in the comics. And whenever I see that stuff like that, I'm always assuming that there's more context in whatever the written version of this is.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So I'm sure that there's some deeper...
Yeah, but that's why I'm just like... I wish that Maria's relationship wasn't shown in flashback. I think she deserved... Because, like, how hard would it have been for them to, like, reenact those scenes where they're, like, singing karaoke? Or instead of showing us a flashback of, like... Yeah. I think at one point they're...
at the bar, ponchos, or...
At the bar, or... Yeah, the Thanksgiving. And I like the ones where there were... It was, like, a series of flashbacks where they were looking... it was her older brother talking to her about the stars, and then she's talking to... is it Captain Trouble about the stars? Yeah. And I was like, that's beautiful. I loved that too. I get what they were doing, but
no, totally.
But yeah, that was my favorite scene.
I like it. I like just the SFL vibe throughout, where she's just getting shit done. I do like that. It was a small moment, and God, now I think everything's pandering, even though I really liked all of it. God damn. But that smile moment, like where the guy asked her to smile and to loosen up a little and show me a smile. Mm-hmm. And I liked, the stealing the motorcycle was just kind of like the funny part of it. But really what I liked about it is that she didn't smile. Yeah. That was the part that I liked, is that she didn't fall into it. Mm-hmm. Because, it just, I don't know why, like, a serious face on a woman scares people. Yeah. For some reason.
God forbid a woman be in deep thought. You see that giant-ass map she's holding.
Or just hungry. Or just existing. Like, I don't have to be in deep thoughts and not be smiling. Like, I don't have a resting, like, grin face. I have a resting, more confused face.
I have a resting smile. I think that's probably my greatest problem in life. Yes. That's why I talk to homeless people all the time.
Oh my God.
Like, sometimes they have good stories.
Oh my God. I've been approached by homeless people too before. It was kind of funny. Why are we living in this
I just have a face that people want to talk to. I don't really know what it is, and I think it is because I smile so much, but constantly people are talking to me.
Well, the other SFL moment
Which is a good thing. You can talk to me. I'm not me, I promise.
Tessa wants you guys to talk to her.
Yeah.
Well, will you guys please reach out to Tessa?
I'm so lonely. Remember when earlier in this episode I mentioned I was seeing a movie by myself while my friend was on a date with her fiance? Remember that? Because that happened earlier in this episode.
Will you please send Tessa a message at Evil Twin? She said Evil Twin. Send her a message. The other SFL moment, it was at the end, but really, after she's badassing all over the place and like her whole body is like filled with whatever and there's fire and she's
her glowy.
She's going through space and just like charging everywhere. I love when she's just like, she could have just killed him, Jude Law, and she just didn't. She's like, I don't have to.
Yeah.
And I like that. That's the ultimate strength. It's not
that's
really
like
having to prove
dying
yourself.
a warrior for the Kree is like kind of dying a warrior for like the Vikings or the Roman, where it's like, I'll see you in Valhalla or like or Elysian. In the Elysian fields, it's like dying with honor. And to dishonor him in that way, I was like, yes.
Yeah.
Fucking psychologically fuck with him, physically fuck with him, destroy him from the inside out. Thank you. That's, again, women, sisters, psychological warfare. Dude, lots of connections in this episode.
I agree with you, because I felt psychological warfare with friends before. I can only imagine that sisters.
Man.
I mean, with my mother.
What would you rate the movie?
I would rate it 3 out of 5 Tesseracs. I really don't.
Why 3? That's so low.
I think that's a really good rating.
I think I'm going to give it 6.
Oh, 6? Okay.
6 Tesseracs.
Yeah, like 3. I mean, I could throw a half there. Like, I'm just not, this isn't my
genre.
It's just not sad.
I'm like attacking you. I'm like, why?
It's just not sad enough. You understand? But for me to feel the happiness within, there must be the sadness. But no, I thought I would give it 3.5 Tesseracts.
Yeah. What do you think of the acting?
I thought the acting was fine. I really did. Like, I mean, with the script, it wasn't super, in-depth in terms of the conversations, but it wasn't what I was expecting. Like, that wasn't what I was expecting. Mm-hmm. So I think they did. Yeah. I thought it was subtle enough.
Yeah.
In their delivery sometimes. It made it a little softer. I don't know. Yeah. What do you guys think?
Exactly. What do you think? Have you seen the movie? If you haven't, I'm not going to say let's not be friends, but don't message me.
Yeah, let us know how you feel about the strong female lead aspect of it, and also, you guys can pander to Tess a little and tell her how you feel that it operates in the Marvel Universe. How you think it operates in the Marvel Universe, right?
Take it seriously. What do you think is going to happen in the next movie?
Yeah.
Because we probably won't do a follow-up because the only women are Wasp. Oh no, she's dead. Just kidding. Yeah. It's just ScarJo and Brie in the next movie, so we probably won't be doing it. So, but yes, tell me all your thoughts. Tell me what you think is going to happen. Tell me if you find ties between Captain America, the first one, and this movie that I should know about.
Yeah.
Or if we forgot something, which we didn't.
Yeah. Yeah. Find out all the plot holes that Tessa didn't bring up and bring them to her attention. And you can find us at Strong Female Pod on Instagram and at SFL_Chicago on Twitter. And I think that's it.
Yeah. We got this.